Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. A meme that I've been running with throughout this whole split is the one that self-made was the problem. Self-made is the problem for Team Vitality. Obviously he got scapegoated a lot for the team's struggles and failures of last split. And the team came back into summer really not looking all that different, really not looking all that great. But now all of a sudden, Team Vitality's getting hot. They're rolling. Perks and Alfari are looking way better. Their bot lane's looking way better. Haru is looking fine. I still haven't been super impressed with him, but I think he's fitting well into the team. The team is working. Vitality is winning games. They're second place in the LEC. So for now, the self-made was the problem meme is dead. So we have to shift our focus to a new meme, to a new target. And that is now my man Nisqy. Nisqy clearly was the problem for Fnatic last split. Fnatic ended up going to Worlds. They had high expectations, high hopes. You have all the upset drama, the craziness behind the scenes, the stress, the sadness, everything that did to the mental of the team behind the scenes. They end up flaming out at Worlds. Adam gets kicked. Nisqy gets kicked. Nisqy doesn't even end up with a team for the spring split of 2022. But then he goes to Mad Lions. All of a sudden, Mad Lions is turned around. And if we look at the LEC standings right now, we will see not only are Nisqy and the Mad Lions 10-3, first place in the LEC, 2 games up on second place with 5 games to play in the regular season. And all of a sudden, the standings really, really matter because whoever ends up getting the first seed for playoffs, it uses the spring split standings and the summer split standings together. But whoever gets the #1 seed for playoffs is going straight to Worlds. And then the other top seeds will only have to win one best of 5. And if you are a top, 3 or 4 team, you are in a much better position to go to Worlds than if you are a 5th or 6th place team, or if you don't even make the playoffs at all. And that is where Nisqy's former team, Fnatic, finds themselves potentially at. Not only are they 6-7, they are below 500, 13 games into the LEC summer split of 2022. They are also tied with Astralis, which is not usually a good sign if you are a team and an organization as big, as popular, and spending as much money as Fnatic. And you look at a team like Astralis, who has been, the butt of many, many jokes over the past couple of years, and know that they are spending probably a fraction on this roster. But you also have to remember, Fnatic is supposed to be one of the super teams in the LEC this year, one of the super teams in the West, one of the super teams in the world. They are also a team that was pretty good in spring split. They were 2-0 up in that series in the playoffs. They were one of the better regular season records in the spring. And Mad Lions did not make playoffs last split. And all of a sudden, Nisqy is coming in to Mad Lions, and the stats are actually really, really funny. If you take a look at some of Nisqy's stats, he has 106 assists. This is the most the most assists of any non-support player in the LEC, which is just crazy. That's that style that Nisqy plays. We know he's facilitative. He's not playing for himself. He's not playing for lane. And I mean, you can see that in his stats as well. He has -11 gold differential at 10, XP differential, he's middle of the pack, CSD differential, he's middle of the pack, which is actually impressive when you understand how little he's playing for himself. The fact that he's still keeping up in CS and XP and in gold. Damage per minute, he's actually the lowest mid laner in the LEC as well, which is just funny because last year for Fnatic, it seemed like he started to play for himself a little bit more. His damage numbers were a little bit higher from what I remember. He was playing for lane a little bit more, but now on this team, he has just absolutely reverted back to, straight up playing for the team, and it's led to insane results. He has really, really high kill percentage. He has the highest first blood rate in the LEC for mid laners as well, which is just huge. Nisqy is making a ton of plays, and that works out perfectly for this Mad Lions team because if you look around him, there's 3 really big playmakers. Arma, you can question just how good he is, and I question how good he is all the time, but this guy's a madman. This guy's crazy. This guy looks to make plays, and if you have a mid laner that's going to roam up to him, that's going to make his crazy plays and his maybe low success rate plays, it's going to make them work out more often. And you look at Lmaoooo, who we know is a massive playmaker out of the jungle. He's a guy who can carry games. He's a guy who can win you games. He's like that mastermind, but also very, very talented mechanically. And then you have Kaiser, who is one of the biggest playmakers in the entire LEC at his best. This is a guy who, from the support position, is able to play at like an MVP level, is able to really, really impact games. And then obviously the odd man out here is Unforgiven, maybe not as big of a playmaker as those other guys, but he is really showing that when resources are put into him, he can carry games. He's been popping off on Draven. He's been having some really awesome performances. He has an insane champion pool. He can play the mages. He can play the Draven. He can play the scaling AD carries. He can play the Kalista. Like, Unforgiving can play everything. Now, maybe he's not the absolute biggest pop-off carry in the LEC or anything like that, but when you look at the context of this Mad Lions team, we have a ton of playmakers, a pretty reliable AD carry, and a guy who wants to facilitate it all in the mid lane. It has just absolutely worked. This team, like I said, has gone from 7th place in the spring to now 1st place in the LEC regular season. And what did they change? They changed their mid laner out. Reeker was not good. He was a bottom 3 mid laner in the LEC. And then Nisqy came in and is looking like a top 3 mid laner in the LEC. And I think right now, Nisqy has to be the LEC MVP. If you take your team from 7th place to 1st place, that's an MVP level performance. And with how he's looked and how good he's been, he has the most player of the games of any player in the LEC. But then on the flip side of this, you obviously have Fnatic, who all of a sudden is looking a little bit silly. Now, I don't totally blame them. There was all the drama. They were put in a weird position. The upset drama from Worlds put Fnatic in so many weird positions. They had a young, developing top laner in Adam, who they were really, really excited about, and a lot of people were really excited about. I think he won Rookie of the Split. They had Nisqy, who was looking really, really good. But they were able to get some good players. Like, if Humanoid was available, Humanoid for Nisqy on paper didn't necessarily seem terrible. It didn't seem like a bad upgrade. But in the context of Fnatic, it's just not really working. Obviously, you lost Bwipo as well, but that was, I don't know if it was totally related to all this. It seemed like Bwipo was probably going to be gone anyway, since Fnatic didn't want him in the top lane. So it just ends up being really, really weird. And obviously there's been a lot of criticism levied towards Humanoid and how he's been and everything like that. And if you look at Fnatic recently, while Mad Lions has gotten super hot, while Mad Lions is in 1st place, you'll see Fnatic, yes, on Saturday they did take down Team VDS, but since then they have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in a row. Their last game was July 2nd. Guys, tomorrow, or I guess the day that this video is going out is August 1st. It's almost been a full calendar month since Fnatic has won a game. And yes, again, they did beat BDS yesterday, but BDS 1-12. BDS is like 2 wins, 23 losses in their last 25 games. This is one of the worst teams in LEC history. Everyone says, they would lose to ERL teams. They are just in an absolute free fall. There is, stuff going on behind the scenes. There's lack of motivation. There's lack of talent. There's lack of infrastructure. There's lack of everything for this Team BDS team. They've come in as a new org in the LEC and shown that they were really not ready for this, not fully prepared for this, they just have a lot of things going wrong, and the players are definitely feeling it. So, yes, Fnatic did win, and I know Humanoid after the game, he was like, hey, we're looking better. Things are trending up. We're looking good. And it's like, hold up. Are they really? You guys beat Team BDS, and now you're acting like, hey, everything has been forgiven. No, this team, ever since blowing that 2-0 lead in the playoffs of last spring, has not looked the same. They have looked vastly different. They have looked vastly worse. And it just, it hurts even more that you kicked Nisqy, and now he's somewhere else, maybe about to win MVP, maybe about to go to Worlds, while you might not even make playoffs. Is just very, very interesting. Now, hey, Fnatic, I do believe they have an easier schedule coming up. They play SK. The last 5 games are against SK, G2, Astralis, and then we have Vitality and Misfits. So 2 pretty winnable games, 2 pretty losable games. The game with Misfits maybe going to be really, really close, but Fnatic definitely has a good chance of making playoffs, and I do expect Fnatic to be in the playoffs. But there is a world where, yeah, Fnatic will not be going to Worlds, while Nisqy and Mad Lions could absolutely be going there, and that's just got to sting a little bit. When you just had this guy last split, yeah, the grass seemed greener. Yeah, there was some drama. Yeah, you had your big shiny toy of Humanoid sitting there, and you wanted to go grab him. And Humanoid's been fine, he doesn't fit in this Fnatic team well, but it's not like individually he's been absolutely disgustingly horrible or anything. But Nisqy is just a guy who time and time again has gone to his teams, he has elevated them, he has made them look better, he gets teams to Worlds. He doesn't always perform the best individually at these international tournaments and everything, and I'm still looking for him to take that next step up in his career. But Fnatic, they were in the quarterfinals of Worlds against Top Esports, and they blew a 2-0 lead with Nemesis, and then they go to Nisqy, they perform a little bit worse the next year, and then they change mid again. They're with Humanoid. Now it looks like they're going to perform a little bit this year. There's just so much instability, so much turning, and obviously they hung on to Upset and Hylissang, and they have not been as good in 2022 as they were in 2021. And it just looks bad. So all of a sudden, I was memeing on Vitality so much for kicking Selfmade and blaming him and all that stuff. But now all of a sudden, with Fnatic sitting at 7th place in the LEC on the outside looking into the playoffs, I think and there's tons of people making fun of them already. Fnatic's gotten a ton of shit over the past 2 splits, but all of a sudden, you know, Nisqy was the problem. Has to be the next big meme. Has to be the next one. Where it's just, if you're a Fnatic fan or you're a Fnatic organization, you see what Mad Lions and Nisqy are doing right now. It's got to sting, especially while you are 1 in your last 5 and your 1 win is against Team BDS. And yes, like I said, Fnatic's schedule does get easier, but again, they've only beaten BDS, so even an easier schedule still has to be a little bit scary. Maybe they're going to gain some confidence off that win. Maybe they're going to get rolling, but again, how much confidence are you really gaining from beating a team that everybody's beating? I don't know, but that's pretty much everybody's video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out my Discord. First link in the description below. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one, but until then, peace.